Hi everyone, I wish you good luck in new 2024 year and I hope you can achieve more goals in this year. And let me show you one interesting opening trap in a Russian game for white. So Russian game, it is opening after e4, e5, knight f3 and knight f6. Of course the main move for white is simply knight e5, and then after d6, of course this is the main move for black, but also knight c6 is possible, and this is Stafford gambit, interesting idea for black. But now in this position after d6, of course main move it is knight f3, and then after knight e4 white of course has the small advantage, but position I think is pretty equal, so plus 0.03 by a computer. But also of course you can play with the sharp opening knight f7 and knight f7. This is Cochrane gambit and I like this move so much. In blitz, for example, this is my main move, but of course in serious game I played knight f3. But of course knight f7 also possible. We can see that 57 game won in this position for white, for me. But of course main move is knight f3 and the strongest move is knight f3 in this position. But if you want to play another gambit, but if you don't want to sacrifice your knight, you can sacrifice only a pawn with bishop c4. Bishop c4, of course black can play knight c6, and this is true knight defense now. But if white plays like this, they can be ready to knight g5, also sharp variations. But of course the most interesting move for black, it is simply knight e4, and now black has extra pawn, but of course we don't want to take pawn on e5, and we want to take positional advantage with the best development, and knight c3, playing with this gambit style. And after knight c3 and d takes c3, in this position very popular move for black, and this is a second move by the chess database, it is d6. But d6, it is a mistake for black, and let me show you why this move is so bad. So in this position white has some opportunities, for example knight e5, interesting, but even easier is knight g5. Knight g5, and we want to take on f7 with the fork for the queen and for rook on h8. And after bishop e6, in this position also knight e6 and bishop e6, both moves is so good, but bishop e6 is easier because after f takes e6, of course knight e6 also possible, but even stronger is queen f3, because it is also double attack for b7 and for f7, and queen f7 is a checkmate. So bishop e7 is the best move for black, and now queen f7, king d7, and in this position after queen e6, queen e8, king e8, of course we can play queen f7 with some attacking chances, but I think the easiest way for white to have some advantage is to play knight f7, because knight f7 is the pin, is the fork, sorry, and after queen d7, queen takes d7, king d7, king h8. Of course if black plays the right way, so king e6 is the best to protect f7 square, so we cannot play knight f7, and also we cannot save our knight. But after bishop e3, knight c6, and then for example f4 is the best move, but also castle queen side is so good for white, and rook h8, we can see that after 15 moves white has extra exchange and of course very good chances to win in this position. So that's why after our gambit, after this move order, we can sacrifice pawn on e4, and then in this position d6 is a mistake. Of course the best move for black is to play f6, but f6 has some problems. For example, this move opens h2 g8 square, and next one, of course, we can play, for example, simply castle, and black cannot castle his own queen to the king side. Of course, if black plays, for example, c6, d5, bishop e7, then castle is possible, but it is 4 move, but it's so so many moves for black, and white has some ideas, for example, like knight h4 and then queen h5 with the check, and it is so strong for white because after g6 we can sacrifice knight on this square. So white has some attacking chances, and for example by Stockfish it is I think it's equal position, maybe some small advantage for black, but of course in blitz white has very good compensation for this pawn because of the best development. So interesting idea, and of course if d6, then after knight g5 or even knight e5, white has a very good advantage in this position. So I hope that you like this interesting gambit for white. Goodbye and see you next time.